Welcome back to another episode of The Unmasking Effect. Today's guest is someone whose journey will remind you that no dream is too big, no challenge is too great, and that stepping outside your comfort zone can truly change your life. Joining us is Sandra Reardon, a powerhouse real estate professional and agent with Sotheby's Realty. With a rich background in international business and marketing, Sandra has sold over 100 million in transaction volume, an incredible accomplishment. But what makes her story so remarkable isn't just her professional success, it's the journey that got her here. In this episode, Sandra takes us through her personal reinvention, from leaving her life in Chile to immigrating to America with a vision for something more. We talk about her rise from cleaning tables at restaurants to selling million-dollar homes, all while embracing the mantra that life is too short, not to live fully, harmoniously, with gratitude for every situation. Sandra's story is one of resilience, courage, and the power of following your unique path, even when it seems stepping far outside your comfort zone. Whether you're dreaming of your next big leap or looking for inspiration to create a life you truly love, this conversation will leave you motivated and ready to take action. Let's dive in. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Sandra Reardon to The Unmasking Effect. So you say you're in Virginia?
Yeah,
Okay. How long have you been living in Virginia?
20 years.
20 years. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Chile.
Chile. Oh, okay.
I came to the
Awesome.
United States in 2003.
Oh, okay. Okay. What
hmm
made you decide to come to the US?
Adventure.
Advent
Um,
adventure.
well, that's one of the. I have a relationship, and I was totally heartbroken, and everything. It was so I can call dark in my life, and then my mom invited me to come to United States for a vacation or a period of time of 2 or 3 weeks, and I decided to start a new life. And I was like, you know what? I want to go to United States. I want to go and see why people love United States, and I want to adventure with my American dream.
Awesome. What was
hmm
your life like in Chile?
I finished college. I'm engineer in marketing and businesses, and I have a job from 9 to 5, but I was very unhappy. Like I didn't like that people work extra hours, and in Chile, people don't pay extra hours, and I was super super tired of that kind of life, and that's another reason why I just want to adventure or just jump to see what is in United States, and I am very happy that I made that decision.
I see. Awesome. So as a young lady growing up, what were like your passions and dreams and what were you excited about?
When I was little.
Yeah, like you were 8, 9, 10 year old.
Okay, well, I was very girly. I was ballet dancer, and my dad, for some reason, he was very unhappy for me to be a ballerina, and he's like, "You are not going to leave, profession in the future of being a ballerina." And actually, was very professional. They tried to send me to a special school, and he's like, he pulled me out. He had a big argument with my mom and said she's not going to be a ballerina, she's going to be an engineer, and I want to study communication too, like this, right? I love this. I love social media and networking, and talk to with people. So, and my dad, by the time, I couldn't afford it too, that communications in the universities there are very very expensive. So he was like, no, you can't. So I had that job. I finished college as he wanted me to do. and I got the degree, and I was doing that job for a year, and I was like, oh my God, a nightmare. And I was like, this is not for me. So,
Mm,
yeah.
awesome. So I have two daughters. The eldest is 18 now, and is 16, the second one.
Oh, wow.
When they were younger, they loved to dance. So, we did the whole dance class, ballet, the whole thing. And I remember thinking about it, and I'm like, can they make money being like dancers? But I'm like, not that kind of dancing. I don't
I
know.
know as a parent, I mean, I know that my dad did the best for me,
Yeah.
right? But he tried to guide me to one path that it was not mine, to be honest,
Hmm.
because a job from 9 to 5 is would never me. Like I was like, no, this is not for me. But I know that he did it with the best intention, because as a parents, we always want the best
On
for
the
our
best
kids and
intention.
make sure that they can make it when we are not here anymore, right? And I'm very, very grateful for whatever he did. But I'm 47 now, and I totally go back to social media, and now I do what I love. So I'm very happy.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. So, what was the process like now coming to America and going on your grand adventure?
Well, it was very hard, to be
Mm.
honest. But it's all about the mindset. It's all about how you look the situation. Because when I came here, I was in my mind, I know it was an adventure. So I knew that thing it would not be easier, you know. So everything in my brain, it was like, oh, this is an adventure. I was an engineer in business, and I have a job like an office. I have my car. I have everything in Chile. I have a good living. And when I came to United States, I couldn't even speak English. As you
Really?
can as you can see my accent, so I'm sorry if I make some the pronunciation issue, but
No, no, no,
uh,
not at all.
so it was very hard for me, and I had a very tough time because I couldn't speak the language, and also I was nobody here. I was no my degree was not valid here. So I had to start cleaning tables and cleaning houses. By the time my mom was cleaning houses, and I, I told my mom, like, it's no way I can continue cleaning houses. That was not for me. And then she was a little bit disappointed of me in that time. But I say, let me find my path. So I started to work in the restaurants, cleaning table, and I become a bartender, and that's how I start.
Awesome, Sandra. So, just to back up a little bit, so when your mom came to the US, is that what she used to do for work, was to
Yes,
clean homes?
yes.
Okay. And
Mm.
she invited you on that journey to get you started?
Yes, and she was saying, "This is the best way you can make money." And I remember I was crying and sit down on the steps, or in a house, and I was like, you know what, Mom, I can't do this. I don't care if they pay me $1,000. At this point, I don't care about the money. I just can't do this job. So
Mhm.
I went to try to find a job as a bartender or waitress. And by the time I could speak very good English, but then they say, okay, you had to be a busker. So I was cleaning table actually. um,
Mm,
that was how I started. But then my mom used to live with a lot of roommate in her house, and I really didn't like the environment there. So I left my mom's house actually the first month when I came here, and I was
mm,
looking for uh, a room. And I found this roommate that he was very, very good with me, and we became very good friends. And I was living with him um, come on, 4 years.
mm.
But then
And
after that, my mommy was very upset with me, and because I left her house.
yeah.
But I think by that time we have an argument, and when I left, I couldn't speak English. I had no money, like no money. Probably had $300 in my bank account, and
Mhm.
I just have a mattress. So I find this person who allowed me to stay with him and pay rent. And by that time, I start to be surrounded just with American people.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped me a lot with my language, because they teach me,
Language.
they help me, and all of that.
Yeah. So why do you think your mom was upset with you for leaving?
Well, I think she was very worried because she knew that I couldn't speak English. I had no money. She was like, "Where are you going? People are bad. Something can
Mm,
happen to you." And I was like, "No, this is let me doing this by myself." And actually, the adventure became this is the adventure, right? Like no money, no
mm,
English. Um, no papers by the time. So, well, I
mm.
have my visa, but it was a very uncertain
Certain
time.
times, yeah.
Mhm.
So, I guess it's the immigrant mindset to just come find work and start working. I'm from Jamaica originally,
Oh wow.
so my parents came before me, and so what you're speaking um, about is what I had to observe them going back to doing work they wouldn't usually do back home, and they
Right.
adjusted to make a living here and to help us to grow and become who we are. So, I understand the protection and them wanting us to do it a certain way just for safety and all those things. So,
Yeah, I told my man, let me do it differently. This is not for me. This is not, I mean, like, sometime in life, people can tell you do this, but it's you feel like this is not
uh,
match with my align with my energy or whatever I want
yeah,
to do in life. So that's why I become to, being in my own path, which went amazing because I met so many good people. I was sponsored by a company because I brought my degree here, and I was sponsored as a vice
mhm.
president of a company, a computer company. So that was a very good.
Awesome. Awesome.
Hmm.
So, Sandra, if we were to rewind, what I'd like you to do for me is to introduce yourself.
Okay.
There's a lot of young ladies sitting watching this interview, and they're going to look at you. And I'd just like you to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you're about, what's your profession, or what do you do, what's your passion, just to give us an idea of who you are.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. My name is Sandra Reardon. I am from Chile. I live in United States for 20 years. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a mother, and my biggest passion is to motivate people and express how life is a cycle of like summer, winter, fall, and I become through a lot of things in my life as a woman, and I my biggest passion is to motivate women out there to say that we are enough, and also we are capable to do anything. And I know that sounds very cheesy, but it is true because I become that person that I always want to be. And there were moments that I was thinking that I would not be able to make it. So that is my biggest passion, to spread this word of my experience. I'm a real estate agent as well. I do investments, and I have different businesses. So, and also
Awesome.
I have a sport line now, sport collection.
Okay. And when you say sport collection, what do you mean?
It's a sportwear that I
Okay.
created like this 6 months ago, so it's very new.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. So, can you describe a significant challenge you faced and how you overcame it during your own reinvention?
I have a lot, not a lot, but probably two times that I had to reinvent myself. One, it was when I came to United States, and from engineer or business or this level to become a busker and cleaning table. I know a lot of people have an issue with that to change, and then when I reinvent myself, but I think my faith and my visualizations of where I'm going keep me very clear of the outcome. So, for example, when people will look at me probably down, or I was cleaning table, I didn't even care because I knew where I'm going. Like, it's like, this is not going to be forever. This is a period of my time. And I think that's very important to know that any situation in life is not permanent. And I know a lot of people think sometimes getting a hard time, and then the mind's like, oh, this is going to be forever. This is going to be my life. And that's not true. It's just a period of time. And we need to remember that. And then that's one of the biggest, I think, good key to remember. Say, this is not going to be forever. This is a period of my time. And visualize where I'm going, where I want to be, who I want to become. Like, that's kind of like, okay, I don't care about this, I don't care about that, because I'm going this way. So that's what I did when I just came to United States, and I started to be surrounded American people. They helped me a lot with my English. And then I started to become, like a better waitress and then bartender. It was a lot of funny stories out there about my language and how I became being a bartender, which made me, my income started to be, better as well. And that was the one of my, time when I reinvent myself and I become better. And I just want to be very clear with your question. So that's what one time I had to reinvent myself. And the second time, I was married for 8 years, and I was very, how I say, my husband was a very good provider. And the pandemic started, and I remember, because I have two businesses. I'm real estate and also have a childcare. And by the time the pandemic started, I started to, had to close my business, very uncertain about real estate, because I wasn't sure if I will be able to show properties. And then my husband, I remember, he's like, don't worry about it. I'm still working online. And, then he passed away suddenly from a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
And then on May 1st, 2020, I wake up that morning, and I was so happy because we was quarantined, and I was, day off, right? And then I'm going to make my breakfast. And then when I came downstairs, he was dead. So that was a big challenge, one of the biggest challenge in my life, because I don't know how to say, I had to just realize what's going on, what happened. I tried to do CPR to him, and he was gone. And I heard him, like, to be honest, I mean, like, it was like 7:50 a.m. and he was making coffee, and I came downstairs like 8:10 a.m. and he was totally gone. So I did a CPR, had to call 911, and when 911 showed up, they said, sorry, man, he's gone. And I was in shock. I was screaming. I was starting to argue with the 911 and say, no, you can't get me the answer. What happened? And, by the time the pandemic just started, so it was very uncertain time. And then I had to leave the house because, they had to, when situation like that happens, everybody had to leave the house, and, the police had to come inside and see what happened. But that was a bigger challenge, because we used to, spend a lot of time together, especially with the pandemic. And then he was kind of like, we paid bills together. And I always felt like he was more respected because he was in America. And I felt like people would not respect me because my accent. And so he was kind of like the big supporter, like do everything in the house. And that time I was totally, I don't know if I should say lost, but it was a lot of question in my brain, like, what do I do now? I had to pay the mortgage. I had to do the bills. I had to take care of everything by myself. And with this accent, I don't want to see a limitation, but it was one of my biggest limitations that I have in the past. Not anymore, but so that when I start to reinvent myself to this strong woman. And that's one of the biggest lessons. Like, okay, one of the biggest motive was my daughter, because it was very sad situation. And my daughter, she's 18 years old. She was with me when she was 15 actually. She was 14 years old to be exact, 14 years old. And I remember that one morning I really was like very tough to me to wake up. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm a mother and I don't want my daughter being around sad environments. And I need to make, this environment good for her. And that
Mhm.
was my biggest sword. I think my daughter was my sword to wake up, stand up, take a shower, and say, we want to do this. And that was when I had to reinvent myself. I remember I got a phone call from one of my clients that they want to, lease the house. And I was like, okay, you know what? My focus right now is going to be 100% on real estate because I know I had to make money. I need to just do something. I can't just be home crying and all of that.
Mhm.
And plus all the legal thing that we need to, by the time we had to take care, my focus was change the focus on real estate and remind yourself that your daughter, how your daughter want to remind, these times. And
Mhm.
I think as a parents, we are example. Sometimes we say no, they are little. No, we are example. The kids always want to look at what my mom, what my dad, like
Mhm.
it's so important. That's it. Being a parents is a big responsibility. And
It is.
right. And then a lot of people say no, they're looking at us. And that's why I just changed my focus. And that day actually I was a top producer and I did like so good. And I was like, you know what? I did this. I Now I want to take care. And I don't know, I'm very spiritual, but I remember I felt my husband and my brain say like, you got this, pay the bills before they do that,
Mhm.
and then I felt like, okay, I got this. I know how to do it. And that's why I
Yeah.
become, the person I am. And also I search for a lot of support communities. And then when I find Tony Robbins, and I
Yeah.
started to become. Mhm.
Yeah. So, Sandra, what do you think when you were in the midst of working through everything that was going on, the new responsibilities and everything, like where did you muster up that strength and that resource from to just step out and stand into your own responsibility, into your own self to figure it out? Like, did you use any tools or any specific resources? Or did you just feel that power come forth as the situations presented itself?
Well, I had to tell you something. That's is a lot of people actually ask me how I can keep going, right? I'm a big believer. I believe in God. And I think that is another sword that I have in my life, my faith in God, because I think God kind of like, the owner of my life, but God know what he's doing with my life. And I think even though it's so painful, there's a reason why, he's doing what he's doing in my life. And I think, okay, God, I got it and I want to do it. I want to make it. I know whatever is and it's not under my control. And that's one of the biggest things that I say, okay, I got this and I had to get to it.
Hmm. Got it. As far as your daily rituals and things you do on a daily basis to align yourself and for you to be powerful, do you have any special rituals that you do daily to help you become and align with your highest and best self?
Yeah, of course. I do first thing in the morning where I'm very grateful for another day. My experience that I had with my husband, that he passed away in 5 minutes, and then I got the ashes very quick. I realized that life, I never will take life as a granted. We never know when is the last day. So I'm very grateful every day. So that's the first thing I do in the morning. Be grateful for a new day. Grateful for my health, and be grateful. That's the first thing I do in the morning. Then I do meditation for 40 minutes, and then I read my favorite book. I read a lot of book, but a lot of book is all about self growth.
Mhm.
So that's finances, and also about, I'm very holistic about food and all this stuff. So that's my ritual. And after that, I go for a run outside for half an hour.
And how do you end your day?
Um, with a prayer. And when my puppies, I love my puppies, to be honest. Like my puppies are, I love dogs, and I really believe I'm very, like, how you can say, meditations, and I love animals or the nature. And sometimes I just, drive to a place where I'm just myself and the nature, and think about it, and then just be grateful. But always
Yeah,
with a prayer that to God to help me to be the best person I
yeah,
can be with others.
understood. So, what's three things you've learned about yourself based on the things you've been through and the reinventions that you've had to gone through to date?
I think I learned myself that I'm very strong.
Mhm.
I learned that the thing that I was told when I was little was not true. I learned that I had to delete a lot of beliefs that I have that is not serving me anymore. And I am capable to do anything that I want to do in life.
Mm,
And also, I learned too that giving is um, one of the biggest meaning in life, because now I'm supporting sexual assault and domestic violence institution here in Leesburg, Virginia. I am voluntary there, and I dedicate part of my time to spend my time with those type of women. So, well, it's not just women, for men's and anybody who can be, in
yeah,
violence or domestic violence.
gotcha. Understood. That's awesome, Sandra.
Oh, thank you.
Um, what's one advice you would give someone that would be going through some of the things that you've gone through? What's an advice you would give that person?
Well, first of all, I will say, as I said before, that nothing is forever. So this is just a moment, and don't focus on the moment. Just focus on where you want to go. Focus on how you want to fix it, where you want to go. Like, I know sometimes it can be very tough, because I got through that. I'm like, okay, what else? How I can get? There's no way I can get out of this. There is always a way. Like, don't focus much on the problem or the situation. Focus on, okay, what I'm going to do with this. And in the question, like, maybe this is means something for me. For example, I was questioning why this has happened to me, why life is so hard on me, why, like, and I just, like, why? Because this is each of these moments is going to help me to grow. And by the time if somebody says something like that to me, it's like, yeah, like, forever, and like,
Mhm.
whatever. But now that I'm out, and now I know where I'm going, and I can say this is true. The power of the mind, when I say, okay, this is temporarily, I want to use the tool I have, or maybe look for resources out there to help me to get out of this. Just focus on that, and remember, this is not going to be forever. There is always a way to get out of situations.
Yeah, awesome. So, what's motivating you right now in your current journey?
Oh, I have a lot of motivations though. Well, one is my daughter. One is because I really want to help others. I say giving. This institution that I'm helping, they had just one shelter. They try to do another shelters, but I know that if my goals, if I reach out my goal, I would be able to help other people, and probably create other shelters in different states. And there is so much to do in life when you do good. So that's why it's my motivation every day, like helping people. I do real estate, and also I do life insurance, and try to help people, because I get through that. I know if somebody died, and what happened with the family, and I try to help people to spread the word about, be protected, if something happened. So that is the biggest motivation for me.
Awesome, awesome. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
That we made the meaning of our life is our responsibility.
Mm. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Like everything have a meaning, right? And sometimes, for example, I want to explain one of the situation when the meaning I use this the meaning of life. When I drop off my daughter to college, I come back home. And as I told you before, my daughter is my sword, right? Like I'm going to fight, and then when I show this good environment for my daughter, when I come back that day, I begin a big house, and I was looking my house, an empty house with no husband. Sorry again. With my daughter gone as well. And I start to feel like, there we go, Sandra. You don't have to acting happy or create this happy environment if you don't want anymore. Nobody's watching you. Mm. Right? And you ain't not alone, right? And then automatically change my brain. It's like, no. This is one of the meaning I can make of my life. But I want to choose the good meaning. Like God know why put you in this situation, and this is my time. This is my time to grow. This is my time to learn. This is my time to kill it, because now all the time I have, I can use it to grow and do my businesses. And that's the way I make, like, okay, this is the meaning. And then that's it. This is not the meaning, like, oh my God, everything is gone. My daughter, my husband, everybody, and I'm here alone. So I think the meaning is so important. The meaning of any situation or circumstances. And I switched it, and I think I really believe the meaning of my life, it's the grow, and this is my time. I can do whatever I want, and that's why I get into communities and group. We travel, and I'm able to help others as well. These institutions, and that's why I say it's so important, the perceptions or the meaning that you give to any circumstances in life.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the meaning a little bit more. So the meaning, how did you manage let's just call it the positive, compelling meanings versus the negative, heavier, non-compelling meanings? Like, how do you measure them and decide which one to align to? Because sometimes people can get motivation from negativity as well. So how did you manage both and choosing
which
in
one
your
I want to
choosing?
choose?
Yeah.
Well, it's easy for me because one is going to serve me, one is not going to serve me. Mm-hmm. One is going to make me grow, somebody is going to put me down. So I always choose the one is going to serve me for my future. So for example, and the example I just say, like, okay, I'm alone, this meaning, if I got the negative meaning, I'm not going anywhere with that meaning other than down. It can be even depression, sadness. If that will not deserve, it's not going to serve me in a positive way, and it's not going to, the overcome is not going to be good. And this meaning, this is my time. This is my time to grow. I want to do business. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to take my daughter to Europe. I want to, this meaning is going to serve me for the life of my dream, for the life I always want to have. Mm-hmm. So when we had two meaning, I always going to choose the meaning will help me to grow and get to the life I want or the life I choose to have. I mean, I can choose to be depressing, but I don't want to be that. Right? It's like the choice. You want to, this path or this path. And then that's why for me, it's like, okay, I always want to have a healthy, wealthy, happy life. This is what I want in my life. And it's not impossible. And I know that. But I know it's require a lot of work. And when those negative thoughts come to because we're human, we always going to have negative thoughts. That's part of the human being. But we need to catch them and say, okay, is this thought or this really want to serve my purpose of life? Or this is going to, where this thought want to take me? And then I switch it.
Yeah. Like you've said a lot of powerful things in just the last 60, like throughout the whole interview, but this is very powerful because, see, I think what I hear you say, you have a vision of your life and for your life of being abundant, of being happy, of being prosperous, of being adventurous, like all the categories of life. You have a vision of what that looks like.
Yes.
And then you also create the meanings of everything that happens in your environment. Like, what does it mean? And you make the decisions based on the vision that you have, whether you're going to go there or you're going to go here. If you make the ultimate higher feeling purpose decisions that's leading you towards your goal, then you know that's the decision and the direction where you should go.
Yes.
If you make the decision that goes offline of not where you want to go, and it creates that feeling of depression, anxiety, all those things, then you know it's not the right way.
No.
So how do you realign back to the true north, the mission, the vision, the decisions that you've made for yourself? If at any point you've went offline, is it just like a decision that you just decide in that moment that, oh, I'm going in the wrong direction?
Yeah.
Or is there something that you use to realign back to your true north?
I learned how to use it actually because I read a lot of books about mindset, and Napoleon Hill is one of my biggest, like, that.
Yeah.
So it took me time because sometimes I realize if I choose, for example, like, okay, the sad part, and I'm not going to be happy and I'm going to be frustrated with myself, like how I put myself in this situation. I'm sad, or
Hmm.
some people start eating knowing that you want to gain weight, but it's not, you don't have the power to say, done, I don't want to be sitting on the couch, eating this food. And like, I know it had to be something in your brain. And then it's simple to say, is the life you want to have?
Hmm.
Life is too short. If this is what you want to do with your life, that's a question. And for me, it's so funny because I use a couple of words and I want to share with you. Sometimes it's like, oh, like, oh, this, or sometimes, oh, this client, whatever. I say negative thought in my brain. And then I say, Sandra, harmony, 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 with everything, harmony, like happiness, like even the problem, put harmony in the problem, put something
Mm.
there to motivate, to say, okay, we want to just the mood you put in the situation, it changes it, like, okay,
So
I have this problem. And
you're reframing the whole situation to create new meanings.
yes,
Awesome. Yeah.
yes,
Like that is major takeaway for anyone that's watching, because it's very clear that, again, I talk about this filter of life, and everything in our reality comes in through this filter. And whatever comes out of that filter is the meaning that we create from it. So we have to be very conscious in what we're creating and what it means, because that'll affect your mood, your attitude, your person. It affects everything.
yeah. And
So,
you say something, it's we have to be conscious, like, and it's not easy to get there. So
mhm.
I understand when people say, no, you don't know, because it's because you let your mind control. And sometimes, like, no, we have the conscious and unconscious, and sometimes the unconscious are like still doing a stuff. But if you start to work and your conscience is like, no, this is not where I want to go, and then this is not the life I want to have, or this is not the person I want to be around with. It's just like, it's so quick. And it's an exercise that I always say, just start for a little bit, like, okay, what you did today, or what was your first thought this morning, what did the first thing come to your brain this morning, and then it changed everything. But I know it's a process, and that's the thing I want. I'm very excited to do videos and then express the words about how we can change that, because I know it's easy to let our brain or mind, go one way. But
Mhm.
yeah.
That's awesome. Gems, good stuff. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, and thank you so much for doing this video, because I know there are a lot of people out there that's they're having a hard time right now. And a lot of people too in social media, they send me private messages, say how you keep it positive, how you deal with negative people, and how you deal with the environment. And it's hard. I know it's not easy. I get it. Even family members sometimes can be very, I don't want to use the word toxic, but can be very negative. But for me, I have a challenge actually recently with one of my family member, and I just try to understand where they come from, and try to understand why they can see the light, or they can see something, and I try to support these persons as much as I can. But at some point, it had to come from the person, the switch in our
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It takes a power to try to understand versus being understood.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's awesome. So, what's next for you, Sandra? Is there another reinvention on your horizon?
Yes, of course. I always, I always do. I love to rain by myself. Well, I'm very happy with all the outcome that I had this year, actually. And now I'm going to try to focus on a new market in real estate and insurance. And I signed up with a new community, so I'm going to. Um, this is my next adventure, and I'm very, very excited to see what it's going to bring to me. So I'm going to New York on the September 20th with a big, big event with a lot of realtors out there. And yeah, very, very excited about that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Sandra, I'm super grateful for you to be here today and sharing your journey, sharing your story. It's very inspirational. Your journey from Chile to where you are today. You choosing your path very consciously of what you didn't want to do, and more importantly, what you wanted to do, and following through that. I think that takes a lot of grit, a lot of resilience to overcome some of the things that you have, especially some of the things you have no control of.
Yeah,
And clearly you've pulled yourself to this point where you're able to help others and to continue to grow and expand. I think that takes a special sense of awareness and
thank you.
a sense of who you're being, how you show up in this world. So I acknowledge you and I honor you for your journey, and I'm grateful for your presence today and sharing.
Thank
Um,
you so much. And, and I really appreciate the opportunity that you get me to be here and express how I overcome the obstacle that I have in my life.
Yeah. And more than anything else, not just how you overcame it, but just like how you reinvented who you are, who you're being, and how you show up, and the process you use to realign your mindset, to point to your missions, your goals, to positivity versus the alternative. Because
Yeah.
the alternative is always easy, right? But you've chosen to focus on that. So that's awesome. Before we close, Sandra, is there anything else you would like to add? Anything you would like to share as a takeaway for today?
Well, I just want to say that any person, woman or man or whatever out there, it's dealing with any hard time. Just don't forget that, first of all, you are not alone. There's a lot of resources out there. You can contact me if you want to talk to with somebody. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And always, always, please never forget that there is a life of cycles and nothing is forever. The situation you're living right now is not forever. So remember that. It's like after the rain, the rain will come, right? And that's is kind of the nature. So remember that the situation is not going to be forever. So
Hmm. Awesome, powerful. How can we find you, Sandra, if someone wanted to reach out or connect with you?
oh, I have my Facebook, Sandra Reardon. My Instagram too is Power Fit. Well, you just say Sandra Reardon, and you can find me there as well. And I just want to make this message to, if any you feel alone, or alone, or you need someone to talk with, just send me a message.
Awesome, Sandra.
Hmm.
Well, again, thank you so much for being
Oh,
here.
you're very welcome. Thank you.
Wow, what an inspiring and empowering conversation with Sandra. Her journey of leaving Chile, starting fresh in America, and rising from cleaning tables to selling $1 million homes is a testament to resilience, determination, and the courage to follow your dreams. Sandra's philosophy of living fully, finding harmony, and seeing the good in every situation is such a beautiful reminder to embrace life's challenges as opportunities for growth. Sandra, thank you for sharing your story and your wisdom with us. Your journey is powerful and an example of what's possible when we step outside our comfort zones and stay true to our path. If you found value in this conversation, be sure to share it with someone who might need that extra spark of inspiration to take their next big leap. If you're ready to take these conversations to the next level, this is the place for you. Inside the community, you'll find exclusive resources, live events, and a supportive group of like-minded individuals who are all on their own path of transformation. To learn more, join us. Head to theunmaskingeffect.com, and the link's also in the bio for this show. We'd love to have you as a part of this amazing community. Thank you for tuning in today, for being a part of this journey, and for showing up for yourself. Keep unmasking, keep growing, and keep believing in what's possible. I'll see you next week for another transformative episode of The Unmasking Effect. Peace.